We met in the parking lot of a Food Lion. You were smoking something cheap and laughing too loud. You said, I think we might be the same kind of broken. And I thought, finally someone who won't ask me to pretend. You held my hand through 2 bad boyfriends. You cried with me in the bathroom at prom. You said, I'll never leave you like your mama did. And I believed you like a hymn. But somewhere in the 2nd year, the tide turned slow. Like water rising in a basement you don't go down to anymore. You started keeping score of every secret I told you, and I started apologizing for things I'd never done before. You were the girl who loved me into pieces. One compliment, one cut, one whispered lie. You built a cage and called it sister, and I stayed inside until I forgot how to fly. I called it love, you called it loyalty. But loyalty doesn't leave you bleeding on the floor. I stopped calling other friends because you said they didn't like me. I stopped wearing my favorite dress because you bought the same one first. You texted 2 a.m. to say you'd die without me, then disappear for weeks inside your own universe. You told me my trauma wasn't that bad, other girls had it worse. You told me my laugh was too loud, my grief was too quiet, my joy made you feel cursed. And the worst part, the part I still can't say without shaking, is I started to believe you were right, that I was too much, not enough, too broken, too much taken, that love was supposed to feel like a fight. You were the girl who loved me into pieces. One compliment, one cut, one whispered lie. You built a cage and called it sister, and I stayed inside until I forgot how to fly. I called it love, you called it loyalty. But loyalty doesn't leave you bleeding on the floor. I called you last March from a gas station in Knoxville. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone. I said, I think I need to take a step back, and you laughed. You said, good luck finding anyone else who'll put up with you. And I sat in that parking lot for 43 minutes, not crying, just listening to the silence. And I realized I wasn't afraid of being alone, I was afraid of being alone without your permission. So I hung up, turned my phone off, drove home, and for the first time in 6 years, I slept through the night. Tried to love me into pieces, but I gathered every shard of my own name. I glued them with the light from stupidest thing I've ever done. I am not your shadow, I am not your echo, I am not the friend you keep to feel better about yourself. I am the girl who walked through your wildfire and came out not ash but shelf. Not broken, just separated, not bitter, just awake. You don't get to break what finally loves itself. Sometimes I still hear your voice in my head at 3 a.m. But now I roll over, pet my dog, and say, that was yours, not mine. I'm keeping the morning.